Welcome to episode 5 of Tractor Stories. And I know what you're thinking, this isn't really a tractor, it's a backhoe. But the tractor I had lined up for this week, we had to postpone off some scheduling issues. And technically this is a TLB, which is tractor loader backhoe, but hopefully I can get away with it. Let's get into it. This is my 2000 model 580 Super L case backhoe. And I got this backhoe, let's see, I'm thinking the winter of 22. Had it a little bit now. Before that, I had a 580K. And I'll put some pictures of that up right now. So, I had the 580K several years. And it was a really, really good machine. And the only reason I got rid of it was because, well, I wanted four-wheel drive and extend-a-hoe, and a little bit more horsepower was the main reason. The excuse that I used to get it past my wife was that we needed a cab with heat and AC so my daughter could ride with me. And that's exactly what I got. So I sold the K. It was a low-hour machine, really nice shape, but it was a standard hoe. And it was two-wheel drive, and it was open station. And I sold it. After I bought this, I was on the hunt for a Super L with heat and AC, and I'm going to tell you something. Finding a Super L, especially a Series 2, with AC, extend-a-hoe, and four-wheel drive in one machine for sale, that's getting pretty rare. So, although I don't think this is probably the finest example of a 580 Super L, this is the one that was in my price range and had the options I wanted. It is a factory AC machine, which is kind of hard to find. You can tell by over here, that knob right there, if it didn't have factory AC heat only, there wouldn't be a knob there. That's the easiest way to tell without getting, if you can't see under the hood of one. But the old girl's junked up. I didn't really plan on doing a video of it right now, but you gotta roll with the punches. So, four-wheel drive, that's something I don't think I could give up again. Factory AC, which, I mean, it's nice. It's more for the daughter than me, but I'm not gonna say I don't use it. And extend-a-hoe. Here's, you'll notice this one's on case controls. My other machine was on deer controls, or I guess it'd be ISO. It had two sticks, and this one did the boom and that one did the dipper. No foot swing. This wasn't too bad for me because I actually started off with a John Deere with case controls, believe it or not, and then I bought a case with John Deere controls. So the first backhoe I ever ran was John Deere, or case controls rather, and so then I got that backhoe of my own, and it was Deere controls, and then I had to swap back, which didn't take me too long. I will say, I think that I can be more precise and I can dig faster with these controls versus a two-stick. I think the reason is because you're pushing toward you and away from you instead of sideways. And I think you have a lot more control in your arms pushing away than you do going this way. If I had pilot controls, maybe that wouldn't be the case, but this machine doesn't. The reason I think pilot controls might be nice is because with those you'd be sitting back here on they're kind of at the end of your armrest, instead of with a two-stick you're reaching out. But anyway, I think I can be better with these controls than two-stick if I'm digging close to something more precise. But the only thing about it is I find that I run out of gas earlier in the day as far as energy, and because of your posture, you have to set a certain way to be on the feet. and I kind of find myself crouching over more with these controls. So I like them. If I could pick anything, pilots would probably be nice. And having two sticks right here at the end of your armrest, or you could kind of set in a different posture and not kill your back and your legs at the end of the day. You probably saw that wiggle a minute ago. And what I've done is I've made a linkage that goes to the pedal. And the reason that is I use the front of this machine about as much as I do the back. And we have some really big hills here in Missouri. And that backhoe gets used a lot for counterweight. And with the Deere machine, being that it's two sticks, I could reach back and I could turn it one way or the other on a hillside. Or I could actually operate it. If I was dragging brush, I wouldn't even turn around. I'd just put it down and go under the brush, and I could, I could do everything without turning the seat around. So I kind of fixed that issue. I put this linkage, and let's say that I'm needing to go across a steep hillside, rather than turn around or get a stick and poke the pedals or whatever, I can reach back and I can reach this handle and I can manipulate the pedals like that. So, but that's kind of what I can tell you about the controls. It is somewhat of a low hour machine and it runs super good. The only real issue I have with this machine is that it came from east of us and they have a lot more rock there. And I don't think they misused the machine as far as oil changes and stuff like that. I really just run the snot of it, but I think the rock had to be harder on this machine because the backhoe has a lot more slop at 4,000 hours than I believe it should. Either that or they didn't know what a grease gun was. One of the two. While I'm in the cab, I'll show you how the transmission works. So you have three pedals, two brake pedals, left and right brake. Kind of like a tractor, but they're on your left foot and you get used to it. And these are a torque converter transmission, so it's not a direct clutch. It's a torque converter like in a car, and it has a shuttle. So if I want to go forward, if I want to go backwards, and I can shift from forward to backwards, still rolling a little bit. And then I have 4 gears. It's down in second now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 gears. And most of the time it's in second. Of course, going down the road it's in fourth. And if I'm doing real heavy work, it'll be in first. But that's a really great thing about backhoes is that they were intended to do a lot of forward and backwards loader work. That's kind of what they're built for. So they got a reverser long before tractors did. Powering this Joule is a 3.9, or otherwise known as a 4BT Cummins turboed. This one is about, I believe, either 95 or 100 horse, right around there. And I just walked over here and checked. Gross horsepower 95. So that's one of the more powerful 4BT Cummins that was in equipment. Here's the other side. Pretty darn simple. There isn't a whole lot going on. Look at all the room behind the engine. I don't know if I can pull it back in the camera, but that's where your hydraulic filter is. And there's a reason that these L's and Super L's just are so popular and bring so much money. That's the reason that this is the best one I could afford. They're a very powerful machine, but yet they're still pretty analog. There's no emissions, no DPF, no DEF, no EGR. And this is something that you can still pretty much work on with a set of wrenches and sockets. But yet they're new enough that they have a nice cab on them. I'm sure they're nothing compared to the newer cabs, but they've got easy access doors rather than my friend's John Deere. And you know I'm a John Deere tractor guy, but when it comes to backhoes, I'm a Case guy. I just think these Case backhoes are balanced better, and the reason is, let's step back and look at this boom for a minute. Do you notice how, and I know they've got that funny boom lock where it's over center, but do you notice how That boom actually in the stowed position goes towards the cab and kind of, if you will, lays over the cab. John Deere backhoes, I'm not saying they're bad, but they go up, and then this way they've got an excavator boom, and then the dipper comes down like this. Well, that puts a lot of the weight further backwards. So where I can go up a hill, like coming out of the creek, for example, up a steep incline forward, and not have any trouble. Can't talk today, guys. Not have any trouble. My friend's 410E, he's wheeling out of the creek or any kind of steep incline, he's wheeling. I forgot to show you what I built for the inside of the cab. It's getting a little windy here. I'm trying to fight that, but this is a plastic inner fender. In my previous career, I was a sheet metal worker. So this is 16 gauge. So I put a bunch of stiffener plates, ran them through on the back side, kind of sandwiched all that. And I got myself a buddy seat. Or I got Katie Jo a buddy seat. And it works pretty darn good. It took a lot of measuring to get that sucker to fit just right, because it is tight in there. It is tight. But that is a 6,000, 7,000 John Deere tractor seat's what that is. Next thing I want to show you, should have been in a better order, but is this serrated cutting edge on this thing. If I can afford it, if I ever have another machine, it will have this serrated cutting edge. It's a little bit less aggressive than a tooth bucket, but I can dig into a pile or dig into the ground without, used to I'd have to take the backhoe and loosen up the dirt to get a good scoop, but with that serrated cutting edge I can just dig into a pile or just dig into the ground without much trouble. And this thing can really move a lot of dirt in a period of time. So overall, I really do like the machine. As far as backhoes, I think Cases are one of the best backhoes. Not that they're more reliable or stronger or anything like that, but the biggest reason for me is I do a lot of off-road backhoe work in mud and on steep hills, and this backhoe is very nimble and it's also very balanced. I can drive through places, mud, and don't get me wrong, I'm gonna leave some ruts, but I can drive through mud with this machine to where my friend's 410E, which is a bigger machine, but it's just so rear heavy that he'll have to drag himself through it, and I can drive through no problem. I just really like the way these machines are balanced. If I had to change something on this machine, I really don't know what it would be. I'd like to upgrade it to an air ride seat, and I'd like it to have ride control. But as far as the designers who designed this machine, it's really pretty darn good. It's powerful, it's balanced, and I use this thing to move hay bales around. I can go two at a time on the front, and it's just so strong. You know, you got to keep in mind that before this, before the first backhoe, all I had was a loader tractor, and these backhoes are just so much stronger than a tractor and loader. A tractor and loader is just an attachment. This was built with this in mind. So the front axles are heavier, the loader's heavier. I'm not saying you can't tear one of these up, but you'd have to work at it. But let's see if this thing will fire up, and you can probably hear my squeaking belt I need to fix. I really like this machine. Eventually I'd like to fix all the problems, and I think I've got the main ones fixed. It's just small problems. There's several bushings that wouldn't hurt to be replaced, but overall I don't think there's another backhoe out there that I'd trade this model for. I'm Sure, the new ones are nicer, but this 580 Super Rail is just a super good machine. It's got everything you need and doesn't have anything you don't. It's just simple, easy to work on. But next week I'll bring you another actual farm tractor, but I was hoping that this thing could fill in the blank for this week, and maybe next week we'll get our scheduling issue fixed and get that other tractor on. But if you don't care, you got time, watch another video. Hit that subscribe button, maybe turn them notifications on if you want to see more videos like this. I sure appreciate you. Bye.